Hello everyone, it's Dove here again. Welcome back to my little workshop here out in my garage. So I have decided after much consideration that if I am going to be portable with my engraving business here, I'm going to have one of the air filters, because even if I were to only do outdoor craft shows or anything, I don't think it would be very nice of me to have my hose laying on the ground and blowing over to the next vendor. That's really not going to work for me. And it would make it, if I didn't have an air filter, I would definitely not be able to do the indoor craft shows. And so I do need an air filter. But the one that the xTool people sell is about twice as big as the xTool F1 itself. So it's probably the same width, but it's almost twice as long in the back. And so I definitely don't have room for it, and I don't really have the money for it, because it's right around $400 for their air filter. And right now it's kind of hard to find replacement filters as well. So that's just not something I can do at this point. And so I had to figure out another way. And so I just got it in my mind to try to look for ways to make my own, DIY filter. And I did find some videos online, and one of them was, he was using a round filter that you'd put down like in a HEPA filter, the replacements that go down in there. It was just a round cylinder with holes on both ends, and the guy had like a 3D printer, and so he was able to print out or make like an end cap for one end, and then on the other end he printed out and made something, his own contraption that he was able to put an air tube in or something like that. And so it kind of gave me an idea, but I didn't like the fact that there was a hole on both ends of the filter, and the hole for those are quite big. In the tube that I have, this is the exhaust tube, this is like 2.5 inches in diameter. This is how I've been venting all winter, is just right out the window. And it's coming to be summertime, so I'm not going to want this to be up there, because I'm going to want to open the window. But this is just some janky proposition that I've got up here, all duct tape and everything. But I knew that opening was going to be way too big. And then I was like reading the comments, and somebody had mentioned a cone filter, an air filter for a vehicle, and I had never really seen those before. I mean, I've only really kind of seen the flat air filters, and I thought, well, that's interesting. So I went on Amazon and looked at them, and it ended up being like almost perfect. This is what I found. There's a lot of different brands and different sizes, but this was just a universal one. This was $27, I think. But the one end of it is already covered. This is permanent cover. And this is not a HEPA filter. I'm not quite sure what filtration material they're using. It's not HEPA, but it's very heavy duty, and it's small, it's not real small. It's about half the size of that, but it's not twice as big. So this is something that's manageable to me for my space requirements. And so I chose this one, and it's got threads on the inside, and it says it's pre-oiled. I don't know where all they oiled it, but I wiped down everything. And I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try. But the opening for it is quite big, still bigger than my exhaust hose. And so I kind of stupidly bought at the same time this adapter from the same brand, Spectre. And the bad part is that it just says 3" to 2.5, and that's what I needed, but it doesn't say inside diameter or inside dimensions or outside dimensions. So I didn't know, and I just blindly bought it at the same time as I got the filter, and it ended up not fitting. It's just too small. It's too small on both ends. Sorry, it's storming here if you can't tell. It's starting to thunder and everything. And so this was a waste of money, and I can't send it back because it was already, you know, it's one of those cases where you have to cut it open. And so I measured exactly what I needed, and it took me quite a while to find something, but I eventually found this coupler, and it is, the dimensions of it were actually listed on Amazon, so I was able to ensure that I was buying the right thing, and I've already tried it and it does fit, and so it'll just sit over on top of it, and then I'll put the hose down in here. And then because I don't know exactly what the filter has to offer, you know, I studied HEPA filters and, you know, what they use and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, one of the layers that's in all of these filters is this carbon filter. It's just like activated carbon, you know. And so I just bought this, and there's actually quite a bit here that's 12 by 48 inches. And so I can cut and make several of these filters. And what I'm going to do is put them on the inside. And so I've already measured it. This is 4 inches. So I'll cut it because it's 48. I figured I would just cut it in thirds and make them 16 inches long. And so I can cut, you know, the 4 inches by 16, and I'll get several filters from that. And then I'm going to take it and just put it on the inside there. And I think what I'm going to do is put 2 in there and overlap them and make sure that there's no gaps or anything. I thought about putting one on the inside and then wrapping one on the outside, but I don't think I would like that. I think I just want to put them both in there and, you know, overlap it so that there are no gaps or anything. And I'm just going to see what happens, because, you know, I've got to figure out something. And if I can get it to the point where, you know, I'm running my machine and you can barely smell anything and you're right next to me, then that'll work. It doesn't have to be a $400 filter, in my opinion, especially if it's something that's not going to fit your situation. So that is the plan, and I may do like some time lapse showing, you know, me cutting up this kind of stuff and everything. And then I've got to get it hooked up, and then we're going to test it on some wood. I've got a wood bookmark in here, and I know it takes a couple minutes to do this. It takes almost 2 minutes to do this, and so I'm going to just engrave on the back of it. And I know wood is very stinky when you engrave on this. I've gone outside to the outside to smell it when it's engraving, and you can definitely smell wood burning, because that's what it's doing. It's burning the wood. And so if I'm running this for 2 minutes in here, I should definitely be able to tell whether my contraption is going to work. Alright, so hold on a minute. Okay, so I cut the pieces at 4 inches by 16 inches, and you can probably see how long it took to, and I was kind of struggling. The problem is that it's tapered, so it's not fitting inside perfectly like I would like it to, because it's wider up here than it is down there. But I did get it in there. It's okay, and it's actually, I don't think I'm going to need 2, because it's already kind of overlapping right there at the seam, and I don't think I can fit another one in there. It fits kind of wonky. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I'm going to try it anyways. So this I'm gonna have to take off. I've had it off before, so it's just barely in there. But the little tube, the little cap, this came with it. There's one of these at both ends of the exhaust hose that xTool sends you. And so to make it work with our little contraption, I couldn't use this. And I still can't use this because this will not fit within that hole. But I knew that when I ordered that, I knew that I was not going to be able to use this. So I'm still going to have to just have that off to the side. And this is not a perfect fit, unfortunately. It is a little bit tight, and I'm not going to be able to manhandle it or anything like during use or anything like that, because it will come out, because I've already tried this once and I'm not sure. Let me flip my screen up so I can see what I'm seeing here. Get you level maybe. And so I have to kind of twist it on there, because this is it tries to collapse because it's one of those things, and I don't want it to collapse. And so it's actually kind of difficult to get it in there without the hose collapsing. So I don't know if you can tell, but I'm twisting the filter and holding the pipe still, and I'm just rotating it on there and trying, oops, see, it's trying to collapse. And see, you can kind of see it coming through in there, but it's coming in a little bit crooked. And so I got my needle nose because I wanted to try to grab onto that. Ow, I have a splinter in my hand, so this is not easy right now. I think that's going to be far enough in. I hope so. It seems like it's coming to about right there. Sorry about the rain. I have a metal roof, and it's pretty loud out here. And so it's got the screws on here to tighten it down, and that's about as far in as I can go. So I'm just going to keep it right there and tighten this as tight as I can get it. And hope that it stays on there. Again, I can't be pulling it or anything. I don't know if you can tell, but it's right there, that thread, it's kind of popped out. So I've got to be pretty careful. I don't want to puncture it. I'm just going to leave it alone. It's not perfect, but I don't think I can get it any more perfect. And then it fits perfectly over the top of this. I mean, I was so lucky to find this coupler. I was very lucky because I needed a extremely specific size, and I just lucked out. This is actually a coupler for rigid PVC pipes for plumbing. Of course, it's going to start raining louder now that I've got the camera on. And I've just got it down as far as I can on this filter. I'm just going to tighten as much as I can here. And I'm pulling, and it's not coming off. I'm not going to pull that hard up here because, again, it's fragile, but uh-oh, see? Uh-oh. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to tighten this down. This is as close as I'm going to get, though. I can't find one that is perfect size. So yeah, that was kind of like trying to squeeze out of there. I don't know. Hopefully this will work. I need to get that side in. Oh boy, it's really coming down now. Okay, well, hopefully this is gonna work. If not, well then you'll probably never see this video. Okay, so I'm just gonna be really careful with it. I'm gonna set it over here. And that way, if it's not working, I'll still be able to. I'll be able to smell it. So I've got to turn on my little machine here. So you know, when I'm doing shows or whatever, I can just set this on the floor, I guess. Hopefully, I won't have to have it right next to me. It's kind of in the way right now. Alright. Hello. So I'll go into my software here. And this is the bookmark setting. And it is the blue light, so I don't need for it to do the preheating. And I know, because I already did the other side, so I know it's good. And then I will just do the framing, because you have to frame it. I love this little engraver, it's great. You can see right where it's supposed to engrave, and you can move it around. So right there, I've got it perfectly centered on that bookmark. So I'll stop the framing and close the lid. And I think I'm going to do another time lapse because this takes 2 minutes just to engrave this. So hold on a minute. Alright, well, it's still engraving and I've got the time lapse going, but I can already tell that this is not going to be effective. I can feel a little bit of air coming out of here. So it is pushing it through, but I can also smell the wood. And I can't say that there's no fumes or anything. I've never really seen fumes with this, but I can feel the air coming out. So I don't know. I'm not sure that that's going to be good enough. Yep, and then the air just stopped. So it's better than nothing, but I'm not sure that's going to be good enough. I think I'm going to have to either put another layer inside or wrap a layer on the outside. So let me troubleshoot this and I'll get back with you. Alright, so this is my next step. Let's see if this works. This was my original idea, was to have a layer of the carbon inside and also outside, but that wasn't enough. So now I've got those other 2 strips that I cut. So I cut 3 strips. I've got one on the inside, but because the outside diameter is longer, it didn't quite wrap all the way around. So right there is a gap, so I just took the other filter and layered it on the opposite way and wrapped it around, so it's covered all the way around. And then I just took 2 rubber bands to secure it. It looks horrible. But it's all kind of weird anyways. It looks very unconventional. But if it works, I don't care. I can set it on the floor and hopefully nobody will even really pay attention to it. So let me do the framing on here and get it lined up. I don't think I'm going to turn the camera off this time because it shouldn't take too long. If it's not working, I should be able to tell pretty soon. So let me hit the start button and start. And ideally, I mean, I still need to be able to feel the air coming through, because that, you know, that's the whole point, is to have some air coming through. Because it's tapered, these filters fit really weirdly on the inside and the outside, because I can't cut them perfectly. But this bookmark, this particular wording takes like 2.5 minutes. Sorry again about the storming outside. Hopefully it's not too loud. The engraver itself might actually be too loud. See, it's not as bad. I would be able to tell already, because I have pretty sensitive nose. That's not bad. I mean, I would be able to tell by now if that was going to be a problem. I don't feel any air. I don't feel any air from here or here. So this is a good tight seal. This works really well, this adapter, because I'm not having any problems up here. Yeah, I think this is tolerable, considering I really don't engrave a lot of wood right now. And when I do, it usually doesn't take a real long time, unless I'm doing a special project. So I think this is going to work, because I'm not offended at this point. It's been 2 minutes. Yeah, I think this is going to work. I don't smell hardly at all. Even when the hose is hooked up to my external vent up there, and even though the shield is down on this thing, when I'm engraving wood for a good long time, I can still smell it a little bit in here, even though it's venting outside. So, you know, this isn't totally fully sealed. But no, I'm impressed. I'm not gagging. I'm not offended. I can't smell hardly any smoke. So I think this is going to work. So I've just got the car filter. It's a universal car filter. And some activated carbon. There we go. And I'll put a link to all this stuff down in the description of the video, so if you have an xTool that you need to vent out and you can't afford that $400 unit, then you can make your own. So this is my DIY air filter for my little xTool F1, and I think this is going to work just fine. It's nice and portable, it's light, it won't take up a lot of space in my rig, and I'll be able to use it indoors and nobody will hate me. Alright, you guys, hope this was helpful. Talk to you later. Bye.